everybody. As promised, I have got something special to share with you today. And it's the girls in the room and the guys out. The boys started to bark and we kicked him out, didn't we, Huggy Bear? So she was actually napping, but decided that she would help me out today, okay? She's such a good little girl. Okay, what I want to share with you today is, it's called the border function, border repeat on your machines. I call it the Rubik's Cube. And I was working on our pumpkin, pumpkin patch that we're doing, our Hoop Sisters, later this month. And I started working on the blocks yesterday. And this is 4 of the blocks. And trying to be a little more efficient, tried to put more in the hoop than just one at a time. So you can certainly, you can do this on a lot of things. So I'm just going to show you on my machine how you can use this function. So what was working on the orange, the pumpkins, but I only needed 5. I didn't need 6, so I only needed 5 pumpkins. And then I put the little tiny squares down in the corner. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's flip over. Okay, we've got the machine set up here. This is what I'm going to show you how to do. So wouldn't it be nice to fill your hoop? Now, depending on the size hoop you have. This is actually the Solaris, so I have an extra large hoop that I can use. So I'm just using designs built in. You obviously always want to make sure you've got enough space if you're going to be doing a block where you've got fabrics and they've got to overlap, like your Hoop Sisters or your Kimberbell or some of those. So we're just going to go into the embroidery and we're just going to do it with a frame. Frames will work for this for the demonstration. So we're going to pick a heart and we're just going to pick one and we're going to set it. Now, if you wanted to do multiples, well, how do you do that? Okay, this is just the heart built in, not sized, nothing done to it. We're going to go to Edit. Then in your Edit function, you have something, and I call it a Rubik's Cube. That's the repeat. It's called the repeat border. It's got a couple different names depending on your machine, but the little sign is the same. So it's this one right here. So when I open that up, now I have all these other buttons. Well, the one that's highlighted is the vertical. So if I want to add hearts going vertically, that's what I would do. You can add them at the top or the bottom. So if I touch the top button, well, now I have one that went stacked up on the top. If I do the bottom button, one on the bottom. Now it will only let you put the number in that will fit in your hoop. So you put lots of them in, and it depends on what size hoop you have. So then you also have the buttons that are the spacers. If I push this one, you can see how it spaces them out. If I push the other one, you can see how they overlap. Okay, so we do want them spaced out. Now, if I want to add more, I can do this, like I said, so that I can fill up my hoop. If you have problems and it tells you, let's see, so then I would go sideways. Okay, so I'm going to add, and watch what happens. If I add a second, try to add, it says it extends outside of the embroidery frame. Well, if you know that the size will fit in your embroidery frame, what you can do is, first you can space them out a little bit. You want them spaced. Then push the center. Okay? You can push center. And that will put it back in the center, and then you can move and adjust. Or you can go all the way over to this side and see, can we add another row over there? Let's see. Yes, we can. So we have enough room to do that. So if you use this function, all of these designs will be stitched out at the same time, meaning whatever color, it'll go through and it'll stitch out. Since this has 2 colors, it'd stitch out all of the color 1, and then would go back and it would stitch this one, this one, this one, whatever order you put them in, and then it would go back to stitch the second color. Well, suppose, I've got that many on there, 9, and I really don't need that many. I'd like to put something else in there. You can go up here, and if you look at, you've got those 2 buttons, then you've got 2 other ones, and they have like a little dotted line. Well, what that does is if I touch this one, now it gives me a knife. And what the knife does is the knife is right here, and it will let me cut. Actually, I want to take one, let me take one of those rows off so you can see it better. And to do that, if I don't want that 3rd row, now I can go back. Oh, I did, I cut it out. See how easy it is? You touch the button and it cut those 2 out. So now I have 6 of them, and I can come back and I can save that. Then I could add and go back in and pick another shape if I've got something else I need to put in there. So you can move that over. So maybe I need that many hearts. And again, I can go back into my Rubik's Cube or my boiler, and you have 1. Then I can add another one. Okay, I can do the same thing with spacing. And now I can actually have combined using that feature and be able to fill up my hoop. So what you're going to see is it will not stitch all of them, because remember I cut those 2 out. So when you look at this, you can see you've got black, red, black. So what's going to happen, and you can kind of check it, is this is the first thing it stitches is the black stuff. So I've got my little black line around there, and if I go down through my colors, if you notice that it'll only do this first row before it goes down to the next row. Okay, so it's going to do 1 complete row. Then it's going to come over here and do the next group. Okay, so it doesn't keep all of those hearts together because we cut part of it out. That divides it, but you still have them all in the hoop. It's just another way to make it convenient for you to be able to, when you're doing smaller pieces, putting them in the hoop and be able to stitch them out. So once those would all be stitched, now it'll go and it'll stitch my other ones. Okay, so now we're back up to 0. Okay, so I just wanted to share that little hack with you. I'm using it with my pumpkins because I need 5, and you can see I put, let me flip this back over. Now I don't have them all. So I had, I did the 3 pumpkins, and then I copied them and I had 3 more. Okay, so then I had 6 pumpkins, but I didn't want to, I only needed 5. So I used the knife and cut out this one here, so it cut that space out. But when it cut it, now I can, these 3 will stitch, so it stitched all the orange, all those colors. Then the next set of color will stitch the other 2, and then I have 4 little blocks down here that are my corner blocks. It'll do those 4 blocks as one. So I hope that makes sense. Just a little hack that you can do with your embroidery, and be watching for more little tips and tricks and hints along the way. So you guys, anyone in Florida, be safe this weekend. We are going to get some much needed rain, probably much more than we need, but not as bad as it could be. So make it a great time. Keep your power on, and if you can't do anything else, let's go sew.